What's up? Welcome to the channel, Hanging with GZ. I'm just hanging down the road, getting parts and everything else. You can't believe this, but I just paid $502 for a 6-gallon hot water tank. What the hell is this world going to? I'm telling you what, it's ridiculous, man. $502 for a 4-foot electric cord. Plug it in to a hot water tank, and a 6-gallon hot water tank that's 14 inches high, or 16 and a half inches high by 14 inches wide. Can you believe that? $500. What the hell? People ain't gonna be able to afford nothing in this world. Man, I'll tell you what, we need to start doing something. This is just crazy. Crazy. Hell, you can't even afford to get in your damn car and drive down the road hardly anymore if you want to go anywhere. Yeah, I was going down the road to get that hot water tank and had the old radio on, you know, and usually I'm listening to old country channel or something like that. I don't know, they came on there and started talking about Afghanistan and what the president's done and all this crap. Why, I tell you what, man, it got me to thinking, you know, this world's going to hell in a handbasket. You know, a few years ago I wrote a book, and mainly wrote it for just to have it. You know, I'm getting older and my grandkids read it and all that stuff, but how I growed up. It's based on me going to an old country store, sitting at the table, and an old country store, and the old farmers used to gather there in the mornings and stuff, and we'd go down there and they'd drink coffee and they'd tell stories about what's to come, and old stories about back in the Depression days and all this stuff. You know, of course, you know, you read about it in the Bible, money's the root of all evil, you know. And anyway, so I wrote that book based on the stuff I heard, you know, and a lot of stuff I didn't believe as a kid, you know, at the time. But as I got older, I seen the stuff that it went to my old thick noggin here, you know, that the old man talked about. But anyway, some of the stuff, you know, they talked about, they said one of these days the government owns you. You see anything today? I'll tell you what, it's getting worse and worse every day, you know, and money's the root of all evil, you know. Just follow the money trail and you'll find the answer, was one of the things said, you know. And you think about that today, you know, think back to the wars we had, you know, and the contractors that went and rebuilt stuff was tied in with the government. Now that's a fact, you can research that. And you know, you hear about this gas stuff and who owns the gas and who controls the gas. I guarantee you it's the government. So the government's going to own you one of these days. I'm sorry to say this, and I hate it myself, but it's coming unless the American people does something. And another thing I seen on TV the other day, or I seen it on Facebook or something, a woman stood up, you know, and she's talking about her rights in the school. A whole bunch of parents was behind there, you know, and she was raising Cain because the school's policy was your child had to wear a mask in school, you know. And oh man, I'll tell you what, it's just getting rougher and rougher every day. One of these days, I guarantee you, you're going to have permission to go take a dump. You think I'm bullshitting you, but I'm telling you the truth. We're going to have to do something, people. It's coming. And you can even see it locally anymore, you know. I live in a community, a farm community. There's people out here just freaking out, you know. They're telling you what to do, you know. You walk in the grocery store, where's your mask at, you know? Where's your mask at? Well, they're not the government, you know, but they think they got control, you know. But anyway, let's go get this hot water tank in and sit down and discuss a few things. What I heard in that book when I wrote about in that book, when I heard as a kid, and we'll just see how this world's coming and what I think of it. You can make a comment below and tell me what you think of it. Well, I got that hot water tank in, and like I said, I told you earlier a while ago when I went to get that hot water tank, we were going to talk about some things in life. trying to have trouble getting my camera set up here. The wind's blowing a little bit and it keeps tipping it over, so I put it in the floorboards of my buggy. So you're down a little lower watching me, so but I think you can still see me and hear me. So what the hell's going on in this world today? You hear everything on Facebook, you hear everything, a few YouTube things and everything, and you know, it's all about lies. If you really think about it, it's all about lies. And I'm going to explain why everybody's lying. And we've seen this coming. The old folks have seen this coming for years and years and years. And I want to talk about it. But first I want to ask you, have you ever sat on one of these before? Notice the bottom of that? You ever sat on that with your butt? Well, stay tuned in the video and I'll tell you about sitting on one of these. Well, anyway, years ago, I growed up as a kid in the country, and there's a little old trading post down on the corner. And that trading post was a place where everybody gathered. And the country folks would gather in the mornings, drink a little coffee, and tell some stories, especially the old retired farmers. Some of them was old fishermen and all kinds of stuff, but they'd sit there and just tell you stories. So in the summertime, when we wasn't in school, us kids, we'd go down there in the mornings and ride our bicycles down there, and we'd listen to all the what I called the BS, you know. But really, truthfully, it wasn't BS. Them old men was teaching us something as kids, you know. And at the time, I didn't, you know, I thought it was BS, but after you get older, you realize them old boys was trying to teach you something. Get prepared for life. So anyway, here about, a few years ago, I think it was around 2000, between 2005, 2008, I wrote a book. Well, I wrote this book. I've been writing it for a long time. It ain't very thick. I got more and I never did publish it. But anyway, I wrote a book, and it's called Listen, the Old Timers Are Talking. And my dad was on the front page with a pair of horses plowing a field. That's before the tractor time and stuff like that, but preparing the crops with a team of horses. And so anyway, I want to discuss a little bit of that book, but first we're going to take I'm going to take a short break, and then we'll get after it, and we'll explain some stuff. Whew, I had to move. I was sitting out there in the open underneath the shade tree, and the wind kept whispering. I had wind noise anyway on my camera, so I had to move inside the shop. The lights was on. I had too much glare and dropping everything. So anyway, let's get back to business. I wrote this book, probably around 2005, like I told you earlier. Actually, I wrote it before then. I've been writing all my life. I remember the old timers back years ago when we went to the store, you know, as kids. I soaked in all that information. Now, I might be a weird dude or something. People call me a weird dude, but no. I was listening because I knew I was going to get old someday, and I paid attention. I wasn't that good in school, but some of you know me, my subscribers, you know, I went to school, I didn't get the best grades, but you know, I got it up here, old time knowledge. So anyway, what I wrote about when I started out in this book, we ain't gonna go through the whole thing, but the main topic in the first part was, you know, we grow a big garden. And some of my other videos is on that, you know, you want to grow you some taters for wintertime. Can you some tomatoes, you know, put your corn up, your onions, I mean everything, you know, because you never know when you're going to run out of food. Nobody knows when we're going to run out of food, so you always be prepared, you know, have your own chickens, if you can. I know some of you can't have chickens in the cities and stuff, and that's stupid, but anyway, have your own chickens, try to have your own beef, or buy some beef from somebody and put it in their freezer, because hey, you never know. Some people, you know, I know, you know, they have to go kill a squirrel for supper, you know, if they don't get paid or something, you know, and I've been there, you know. I was so poor at one time, you know, when I first got married, hell, I had to go out and kill rabbits, you know, to have something to eat, you know. Hell, we even made a blackbird one time, me and my buddy. We didn't have no food in the house, and it's snowing. I went out and killed a blackbird, and we cooked that thing. It's pretty damn good. But anyway, I talked about the first part. I talked about growing taters. I put a plow right here that we used to dig our taters with, to flip them out of the ground. But the main important was, you grow the big garden, and that was my introduction to it. And we talked about raising hogs, because back then when I was a kid, you go get a job somewhere, not like today, kids go to McDonald's or Sonic or somewhere and work an afternoon job, after they get out of school. But hell, back then you had to cut grass, you had to go mow grass or anything like that, manual labor, you got calluses on your hand. We're going to talk about that too. But anyway, the old timers mainly, back then they was preparing us for life, and I've read the Bible a lot, I spend a lot of time reading the Bible and got some Bible study going on and everything, and the world's unfolding to all this stuff that I've heard over the years. Now, the world ain't coming to an end yet, I don't think. So I scare a lot of people when they talk about the world coming to an end. I don't think it's here yet. I've heard that since I was a kid, and it hadn't happened in 60-some years. So, but anyway, these old farts, back in the day, they talked about everything. And if you was a kid sitting around that table of knowledge, it was called the table of knowledge. And a kid would come in, and if you took a chair, you were in trouble. You had to sit on a milk crate. This is my milk crate I was telling you about. You ever sat on one of these things for a while and then take your pants off and look at your butt? You're going to have a waffle ass. Waffle design. Several of us had a waffle ass, so that's the milk crate deal. So anyway, the old men, they got talking one day, and they was pretty serious about the government. They said someday the government's going to control every one of us. And as a kid, you don't believe, you didn't believe it, A lot of people today, they don't believe it. But I guarantee you, people, it's coming. Unless the American people does something. But anyway, I wrote back in here that the government will control all of us. And that was written a long time ago, and I was told that over 50 years ago. So it's coming. Another thing is, they told me that I would seeing life was 3 types of men. The hard worker, known as the workaholic. The homeless man, and the puppets. You're saying, what the heck is a puppet? Well, you think about it today, you see it all over the country. The news even talks about the puppets. What is a puppet? A puppet is somebody they put in there and they tell them what to do. Now, I used to have a job. I had a puppet for a boss. He didn't know shit from cornbread, and he'd always tell you what to do and everything, He couldn't even drive a nail. He couldn't even put an outlet in, But he was a puppet. But we ain't gonna talk about that no more. But anyway, a puppet. I would see a lot of puppets in life, and I wrote this long time ago. So a puppet is somebody they put in office or in charge, and then they tell them what to do. So you get my drift, okay. Now, another thing in here was, the old timers talked about the dog-eat-dog world is coming. Everyone will only look out for themselves. Money will control everything you do, and a penny won't be worth nothing. Lawyers will make all the money, and people will turn against people just because of the almighty dollar. You think you see any of that today? I do. I don't know about you, but I see it. You know what irritates me? All these rich people, of course, I work for a lot of rich people, and I appreciate them. And they appreciate me, but there's a lot of rich people out here, boy, they walk around with their nose up, and drive their fancy cars and all that crap, but I'm telling you, the world's going to get where we're going to survive, and I'm going to tell you that on the close here in a minute. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. So anyway, not long, I remember a lawsuit one time as a kid, and I wrote this a long time ago, and I want you to relate to this today. I wrote this many years ago. I remember a lawsuit about some boys that crossed the farmer's land to fish in a pond, and he got attacked by his bull. As they were walking across the pasture, the bull decided to protect his pasture, so he got the boys down and injured them. So anyway, them boys turned around, didn't even have permission to be on that farmer's land. Bull heard them. The boys' parents sued the farmer for them boys being on his property. And what the hell? But they had a good lawyer. They had a good lawyer, the almighty dollar. So anyway, the knowledge that we learned as kids, years ago, is just absolutely amazing about what's happening today, And it says in the Bible, money's the root of all evil. You take and see stuff today, people getting away with stuff. Why are they getting away with it? Because they got money. They got money. They got money to play with, And now they're trying to take our money away from us. I guess we can't hide it in our mason jars no more or something. Well, I'm still going to hide it in my mason jar and still have the money, but they're trying to get us to go plastic. Well, hell, every time you go to the store and use your damn debit card, you can't get it to work half the time or the day it's offline. So what the hell are we going to do? We're going to have our IOU or what? But you remember the party line telephone? About 8 families was on it. Some of you might remember this. There was 8 families on that telephone. You picked the telephone up, the neighbor was talking on it, you had to hang up until she was off there and then you could make her call. Can you imagine that today? Kids would just freak out, Hell, nobody's got patience anymore, to wait, They're always on their damn telephone, And I wrote about that, about the computer will take over someday. And it did. The computer has took over. And anyway, we took and read about, I wrote about living in a different world someday. About the fast lanes of life. Now, them old men sitting at the table was talking about the fast lanes of life. They were retired. They had worked. They had calluses on their hands from all their work. They was sitting back. They'd take time to come down and have coffee in the morning and BS a little bit, and share stories with the neighbors. And as kids would come in, it'd be a whole different conversation. It'd be educational and what I'm telling you about today. But anyway, the fast lanes of life. And they told me that like 55 years, or more than that, be 60 years now, 60 some years ago, I heard that. The fast lanes of life. What are they talking about? Back then, people took their own time to do stuff, if you had to go to the grocery store, you saved your list, and you didn't have to run and get it and come right back to make it, you went to the grocery store once a week. Why? Because gas was rationed. Gasoline was rationed, back then too. And gasoline was cheap compared to today. But still, people didn't have a whole lot of money, You drove to town once a week, Could you imagine doing that today? Hell, I left here the other day. I'll admit it. I left here the other day because I needed one screw to finish the job. So I rode to town and come back and got this screw, But the fast lanes of life, everybody's living in the fast lanes of life. They got to hurry up and get there for nothing. I don't know why. I don't know why they're hurrying. Maybe it's important. I don't know. But man, I go down here on the highway and I turn off. People about rear-end me. There's such a hurry, Probably going nowhere. Probably going to go home and sit down and watch TV, But they're in a hurry. Well, gasoline was a lot cheaper back in that day, But I was warned about we would see $2.50 gasoline. Well, hell, that's already passed, But it was all kinds of stuff that we were warned about. Wintertime, we didn't have no heat in our bedrooms, Summertime, you opened the window, you had a fan blowing the air in or whatever, But hell, everybody die anymore if they didn't have air conditioner, Times has changed. I remember the first time that we got a TV, and man, that was something else, Your remote was you got your ass up off of the chair and went over and turned the damn knob to change the channel. Usually us kids was a TV remote for our parents, But I will never forget the days, growing up, and we had to do chores, you know, and that's why I still got animals today. I think that's taught me, you know, what I know today to get my ass up out of bed, go out and feed, you know, before the snowstorm comes, or you know, before you have to go to work. And people today, hell, they don't even want to get out of bed till 5 minutes before the time. They got to punch the time clock, and then they race off to work. The old timers warned us in many days about the almighty dollar. The almighty dollar will be the end of this world. And let's talk about that. You notice anything today about the almighty dollar? I see people today, you know, griping and carrying on, you know, about this and about that. It all goes back to the almighty dollar, you know. It's, you know, well, I'll talk about jealousy too, but hell, I got a neighbor up the road a ways, you know, and hell, he went and bought a new pickup, you know, and hell, it's probably I don't know what they cost, $50,000-$60,000 nice truck. Hell, it's got everything in it. Well, the other neighbor got jealous of him because he took and had to go buy a pickup. Or he went and bought this new pickup. Ain't none of his damn business. He want to buy a pickup, let him go buy a pickup if he's got the money, you know. But the almighty dollar, you know, has really grown, and since I was a kid, you know, I used to pay 8 cents or a dime for a bottle of pop. Hell, look at a bottle of pop today, it costs you over $2, you know. But I've been chewing this damn tobacco since I was a kid. I went to the doctor one day, and we got to talk about all this virus crap. And everybody was wearing masks, and I had to have this mask on to go in the doctor's office. But finally, I got back there, and me and the doctor's having a conversation. And he said, "You ever been sick? You think you had the COVID, or you think you had the virus?" And I said, "No, I don't think I ain't ever been sick." I said, "I take a lot of old remedies, you know, to boost your immune system and everything." He said, "You still chewing that damn tobacco?" And I said, "Yeah, still dipping tobacco." He said, "Well," he said, "more than likely," he said, "you ain't gonna get that virus." I said, "Oh yeah, why not?" And he said, "Because that shit'll kill anything except its own. Kill any kill any germs except its own germs, but it will rot your damn lip off and make your teeth fall out." Well, hell, I still got my damn teeth, so I don't know, I must be doing something right. But anyway, I'll never forget, you know, back in the day, we used to have neighborhood dinners, you know. Hell, you don't do that no more, you know. Hell, there ain't nobody got time together, you know, and meet anymore and have a damn pie supper or a chili feed or a sit down and bullshit, you know. Everybody's living in them fast lanes, you know, looking for something. But anyway, these old men always had some sort of saying too. I mean, they'd come up with some of the damnedest sayings, and I got in trouble at work one time because I said something that I was taught as a kid. You know, when some of them used to say, "I don't give a hill of beans." Well, they were saying it in a nice way because that meant I don't give a damn, but they said a hill of beans. You know, and worthless as tits on a boar hog. You know, well, yeah, a pig, you know, all pigs has got teats, you know. But a boar hog, what's he got teats for, you know? Us men, we got teats, you know. What do we use our teats for, you know? So just some of the dumbest shit. I mean, this dumbest stuff, you know. It's amazing what you learned, and I learned how to drive a nail. And I never did know that, but a nail's got a knife on it. If you turn that knife against the grain and drive that in, you won't split the wood. But if you got that knife with the grain, you'll split that wood. You didn't know that, did you? That's a true story. Check your nails out. Even the nail guns got them. Got your knife, put it against the grain, it won't split your wood. But there was things back in the day where you know, we planted taters, and we was all aware of the mighty dollar. What the mighty dollar? A lot of people on this news today, you know, they get paranoid about you know, what's happening. Oh, what's going to happen in this world? I know what's going to happen in this world. You're going to get old and you're going to die.
And that ain't no fake news. You're going to die someday. Some of us going to die earlier than the others. But you're going to die someday. And people say, oh, you're going to die of COVID. You're going to die of this virus, you know. Jesus is going to tell you when you're going to die. You got a day to be born and a day to die. Have faith. Don't live in fear. Faith, not fear. And you'll get along in life. I guarantee you. Now, this is something very important that I want to talk to you about. I've closed on my last paragraph in my book here. And I wrote this a long time ago. It says, we talked about planting the gardens, okay? We preparing your food. Have your food at all times. You know why? I wrote this years ago. Because people hasn't been hungry since the 1930s. You see anything today, the shelves are getting empty at the grocery store. And I don't know why. I've got food. Have you got food? Can you survive? Can you survive what's coming? We don't know what's coming. I don't walk around all sour all the time like everybody else does. I ain't worried if you're wearing a mask. And that just pisses me off too. I walked in the grocery store one day and this lady said, "Here's your mask at. Get your mask on." What the hell? You got your mask down underneath your nose. Why, shit, I'll tell you what, these people today, they ain't got no damn common sense. Nobody's got any common sense anymore, I'm telling you. Everybody has just gone AWOL, you know, or whatever the hell the word is for it, you know. I know that I protect myself most of the time. I try to take my distance from people. Somebody sneezes, I do the moonwalk backwards, you know. But, you know, you just got to use common sense, you know. Hell, get you some tobacco and start chewing it. You're either going to turn green or die, you know. But this world today has gone hell in a handbasket. And people on the news, you know, I've had cattle, I've had hogs, I've had all kinds of critters through my life. I did bone vaccination, you know. I'll go down to the vet's office or I'll go farm store or whatever and I'll buy what I need to give my animals. Well, there's a lot of controversy or whatever the word is on Facebook and YouTube and the news about ivermectin. You know something? It's been a proven fact. Now I might get in trouble for this, but I'm just trying to tell you the truth here. Figure it out. Just do the thinking for yourself. All right? Are you going to live or die? Okay? Well, if I get really sick, I'm going to try some ivermectin. Because it's never killed any of my cattle. It's never killed any of my hogs. Or it's never killed any of my horses. Okay? I even give it to a cat. I've given it to a dog. You know? Hell, I even give it to a chicken one time. You know? Didn't kill them, you know? And I was working cattle one day, and I had this needle, and boy, we was pushing them through there, and I was stabbing them, you know, and vaccinating them, giving them ivermectin. I stuck my arm, and hell, I probably took 4 or 5 cc's, you know. Hell, it didn't kill me, you know, but, oh my God, it's all about the almighty dollar. Who's got control? Who's got control of the almighty dollar? You know, somebody might watch this video and think, hey, he's talking about ivermectin. Yeah, I'm talking about ivermectin. It's a free country as long as I know, and if I want to take ivermectin, I'm going to take the shit. You got me? Don't tell me what to do. It's a free country, you know. But I'm telling you what, people just lost it anymore. People has just lost it. There's puppets all over this world. There's a bunch of lies all over this world. I'm just sick of it. Everybody's sick of it. Like I said earlier in the video, you know, I seen on the news the other night this old gal was standing up in front of the school board and she was ripping their butts, you know, about wearing a mask or kids wearing a mask. And I hear it all over the country, you know. You know, leave our kids alone, you know. It's our choice, you know. And another thing is, if this virus is so bad, why in the hell won't they figure out something, whoever started the shit, and penalize them for it, you know? And jealousy. I want to talk about jealousy. I'm going to tell you about jealousy. When I growed up, I never have been a person to get jealous of the other person. But I know a lot of people that's real jealous of another person. I've had people jealous of me. I know they have. I used to serve, you know, as a leadership on some stuff, and And people get so mad, at you, but it was all over jealousy. And I just don't know what the hell's wrong with people. They need to read the Bible, because when we all die, we're all going to meet Jesus. It don't matter if you're saved or unsaved, whatever. You're going to meet Jesus. And he's going to either tell you to go left or he's going to tell you to go right. And I guarantee you, I can promise you that's coming. I'm hoping that I go the right direction. And I'm trying to live that way. I cuss a little bit. I chew a little tobacco. And I might hammer somebody for a little bit, just giving them a bad time, but I'm not serious. But anyway, this world I just don't understand it anymore. And I just don't watch the news. They're a bunch of liars, and I hate a cheater, I hate somebody trying to cheat, trying to twist it, change it around to get by with it, Well, you're going to get caught, I guarantee your ass, Of course, hell, there ain't nobody catch him anymore, Everybody's involved in the old almighty dollar. So, anyway, I'll get off here. I'm tired of rambling. I just thought I had it on my mind. I'd talk about a few things. But I wrote that book a long time ago, and a lot of things I wrote in that book, and I put in that book, well, I published the book way after I wrote everything down, but I'm just that kind of person, but you take and read that, you'll understand a lot of it. I ain't got no more. I got a few copies left, but I ain't got a whole lot of copies left when it gets more printed. But everybody might think I'm full of crap, but I guarantee you, you better prepare in life. Don't worry about what's going on around you. They're going to try to get your mind on something else when they attack you. I guarantee you, it's coming. They're going to attack you some way. It's going to be some kind of attack that's going to take you off guard. So live your life every day as it's a holiday. Because someday, if you're not prepared, you're going to be hunting for food. Catch you on the next one.